Hello and welcome to Jarviskjir Rock of the North. It is session 14. It's Saturday, the 5th of February, and here we are. Yeah. I'm excited. I don't know if you are excited, but I am excited. And funnily enough, it's actually it is the Jarviskjir equivalent of February right now in the game, because this game is skirting real time somehow. Every now and again, it just lines up. It's a couple of days away. It's a couple of days before us. It's the first. But, hey, welcome to Jarviskjir D&D, fully homebrew D&D setting with all your fancy people. We still have no Zach because Zach has moved house, which of course means the internet isn't ready when you think it is. Happens to everyone, and yet everyone is surprised every time. That's life. Last session, you guys basically just fucked around doing soap opera shit in Hythundral, the city of Sun Elves. I like how Ori was like about to be offended and then was like, nah, that's true.
It wasn't even soap opera shit though. It was like Spanish soap operas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the best kind.
Yeah.
So you are in Hythundral, the city of Sun Elves. Sun Elves being, as I've said, essentially angels. It really, they are of. If the stories are to be believed, celestial birth created by the sun to fight the mightiest battles of the elves, admittedly, like 20,000 years ago. It's been a long time, and the high elves and other celestial elves are not what they once were, but Sabriel is intent in getting their aid in assisting you in fixing the problem with the primordial gate that remains in Slate Cove. Of course, that means you have to deal with the politics of a bunch of very, very old, haughty elves who haven't done anything for a long time. If you thought regular elvish politics was bad, the Sun Elves are way worse when it comes to this kind of thing. To the point that you actually met one of Sabriel's rivals. You met the Knight of the Sword last week, which sparred with Sabriel and won, and embarrassed Sabriel a little bit. Yeah, barely winning is still winning. And you just kind of got to get much more of the feel of Hythundral and what's different about this place. I imagine the two of you, not Sun Elves, feeling a little bit out of place in, you know, this world that isn't for you, essentially, right? The last sort of thing that happened is that Calravale, Sabriel's husband, had returned home from the war. And that's basically it. You know, he just kind of said hello and was being very sweet. Also, Peep got a girlfriend.
Not a girlfriend.
She's his fiance. There's a difference.
No!
They're
was a mean
married
trick.
already. Was it a trick? They are elves.
It was
Yeah.
very mean.
So that's pretty much what we start off today. I was gonna start off with Calravale meeting Vincent, but Vincent is you know, staring off into the distance.
He's minding
Dramatically.
Grim in Tanuma's basement.
You actually have Goldie in Tanuma's basement. You said you didn't want to give Tanuma
Oh
Grim.
no, she can have Grim, but she can't do anything to
Oh,
him.
she can't rattle them bones. Okay.
No, because Sabriel needs him for evidence. Then she can have her way with Grim.
What are we doing?
Isn't that right, Grim?
Don't make him nod. That ain't alright.
Okay. Grim with the drip. Look at him. Dripped out the wazoo. Look at my man.
He's like
Best
silvery.
friends.
Oh my god. Oh.
Now I want to do that meme with Drip Grim.
Yeah, I just standing posed up.
I don't have the strength, mentally or physically, to do that, luckily. Yeah, that's pretty much where we start off today's session. It would be the morning after Calavera returned, where you kind of have... It's up to you how quickly you want to get on with stuff. The main thing being Sabriel's meeting with the council. Now, it might be more time you want to prepare. There might be more stuff you guys kind of want to do as a group beforehand, or kind of personal things you want to kind of investigate, because there is a lot of potential you could do here while kind of waiting or looking into things. How I will start the scene is this morning, Sabriel and Cal are at the meeting room, which is the breakfast table and things, and probably talking about the council meeting. Cal is sitting side by side with Sabriel. They have you know, little cushion places they always sit at the table, carefully wrapping a very deliberate piece of silver embroidered ribbon around Sabriel's forearm and his forearm. It's very deliberate, seems kind of ritualistic, but also is just casually talking while doing it. And it's very much the sort of thing of he's kind of probing what the next steps are, mostly to Sabriel, but I imagine you two are also in the room. So first, you are going to tell the council about all the things you have seen, and then what is the next step going to be?
Getting something done about this, because that group was looking for those other stones to open the gate fully, but because it's not fully open, it's causing issues already anyway. So we need to get people out there to deal with this before someone else gets the mind to go and use this and cause a bigger problem.
What is the solution that you are suggesting?
I don't know.
Well, my stars, this may be an excellent point of time to come up with enough of a plan to convince the council. I do not know if your new friends are master strategists, Cal says with a incredibly handsome smile, looking at the pair of you. You can't turn handsome off. It's not possible.
Cybrel's jealous.
No looks down at Pete expectantly.
Peeps probably at this exact moment scribbling in the journal they bought and just like dinging along. Strat? No. I just hit things.
What about what you encountered? Could you perhaps have a good testimony about what exactly is happening? Because, my dear, you do realize that attempting to bring these two into the council meeting will be held with resistance.
Oh no, it's gonna be
Anything
like
I do
Avatar
is
The
going
Last
to be
Airbender.
held with resistance. Sabra just pulls out his notebook with all his reports. I have everything written down of what we have encountered, who we talked to, what we've discovered, the name of this cult that we were... Ori can't words right now. That... English, I don't speak it right now. It's gone. It died. No, I think what we need to do is find a way to remove the part that they've already inserted into the lock, which is going to very likely be met with some form of resistance from whomever has done this. My concern is, and I'll bring this up then, is that the usurper elves will catch wind of this, and then we'll have a bigger problem.
In my experience, our enemy below the ground has very little knowledge of what actually happens up here.
But you felt that underground.
Far less than what you are describing. If those quakes continue, perhaps.
They will.
There is a lot of ground that I was under. If this is like any other kind of magical phenomenon, then the potency of the magic, it would become lesser the further away, the more stone and earth that the explosion goes through. So yes, it would eventually affect the underrealm, in some way. And yes, I am assured any enemy of ours would take to using a dangerous magical artifact to cause danger to us. I do not know if High Thundrel suffered from that quake. I don't imagine so.
Is floating above the ground, so I would imagine not.
So are you suggesting that we, for lack of a better term, siege the gate?
Yes.
That would require an army.
Which we have.
They are not going to let you take the army, and they are not going to let you take the whole city and drive it over to a magical disaster zone. This city has not moved since the battle at the breach.
This city can move?
Dan, it can. We only parked it above this settlement of Thundrol because the high elves that live below are almost like the children of our people. We thought it appropriate to protect them and watch them. But this city, as it drifts in the air, can move to exactly wherever we wish it to. And not just the city. Each tower, each palace can move independently. Theoretically. He says with a look to Sabriel of like, everything's old, everything's shit. Nothing's really like broken, but it's one of those things where it's like, probably parts like got left in the breach when it last moved, and that was like 700 years ago.
Ish, yeah.
How?
How?
Wow.
Well, I was going to say.
On that note,
You don't
I
have
do
time
have
to
the
explain how.
orb, hidden.
That orb belongs to Ballord, and by all rights should be on his person at all times. If the council finds out you are hiding this from him, they will just use it to stir up gossip and bullshit. But
I was gonna say Snow could hold it, but then there would be like a full-on like.
No, you would
like
get
hung. Yeah.
Yeah. No. I will be putting it back before we enter. But he was carrying it around in his robes.
Oh,
He looks down at it.
at that point, maybe deliberately, Cal like tightens the ribbon and basically binds both of their forearms together, and there is like a satisfying like sound, and will start writing in silver ink, with a silver paintbrush, straight up on the table. And the sigils start glowing with silver that kind of melts into gold. He's casually performing a ritual while they're talking about this.
Snow would ask, he'd be like, may I ask what it is you're doing?
When... He smiles. When two people love each other very much, occasionally there are ways to further the bond of marriage and the bond of the heart to be a bond of the mind. This spell binds me and Sabriel's minds together so that we can share our thoughts, our feelings, our memories, our dreams, our desires over... Well, we could be a world apart and share anything we wished. But such spells even have their limitations and need to be refreshed every century or so.
Snow just nods. He's like he's like, okay, sure.
You got your answer.
Yeah. You know.
So are they just gonna let us go into these council chambers?
No. You would need a very good reason to be inside there. The council is only meant to be held in the presence of sun elves. Particularly the most eldest and most advanced, those who are blessed by the sun and blessed in their skill. I do not believe there has ever been a time, other than perhaps the King of High Elves, that the Sun Elven Council has even entertained non-divine entities in their presence.
So they definitely won't let a kobold go in.
No, they do not, they do not know what you are.
Oh. That's kind of fair.
So you are simply a delightful creature. Like a plaything, like a sunhound.
But I'm strong and I can fight. I'm not just like a little small puppy.
Oh, I'm sure that you can. Yes.
He says in a patronizing way. That might just be how he comes across.
Yeah, that's what where'd that conversation go? It fell off a cliff.
I don't know.
You need an army. You
Thought
can't take
process
the
got
city.
Hero.
Peep is strong. Peep isn't yes, Peep and Snow may not be allowed in the council chambers. That was the last point.
I'll deal with it in a minute.
No, I had a question, and now I forgot what the question is. It was like, so just to refresh my memory, I have in my notes, I'm pretty sure, but so the group that Ori is talking about that's trying to do it is the elemental monks.
Mm-hmm. That were trying to do it. Admittedly, this was a while ago, and the only thing that's changed is that the primordial gate has started exploding.
Okay.
The earth elemental energy. There is something happening, but that's
why we found that Grundle. I mean,
yes.
what was it called?
Grendel.
Grendel. I'm
But
sorry. I'm just trampling all over all this lore.
a Grendel is like a Scandinavian Germanic
Yeah, that's true. That's right.
legendary creature. Trample all over
So
it.
Sabriel, can Sabriel get them to be able to come in as additional testimony to what he went out there and investigated? Because he is going to be bringing or attempting to bring in Grim, because Grim was directly in the center of it. So
Yeah,
You will have a much easier time bringing in these two than bringing a skeleton into a council meeting. I know there are talks of situations where people have brought in an undead as an example of a threat, but that is simply ridiculous and a thing of fairy tales.
my dear, we are a thing of fairy tales at this point.
Ah. In comparison,
case-
these two will be a delight to bring into the council chambers. You bring a skeleton in, and the Knight of the Sword will take any opportunity to try and get you removed from the council. And when you are removed from the council, I am removed from the council. And then he has the controlling vote, and he will do whatever he wants. It will be
Right.
the whole city will be a party time of assholes.
Well, then we will just say that Tanuma has the skeleton and they can go interview him after the council meeting. I have notes on him. I still don't understand what is going on with the strange undead, not undead skeleton, but he was in the direct center of it, so something to do with it. He was affected.
He doesn't seem like he knows he's dead.
He does not know he is dead. He does not believe us that he is dead.
Admittedly, that does appear to be quite a hard concept for the psyche to grasp.
I feel like if I were dead, I would realize it.
I think looking at one's arm and seeing bones instead of flesh would be a problem. I showed him his face. And
Maybe he doesn't see the same thing we're seeing.
again, this leads me to believe that he's cursed in some way. By whatever happened there. But yes, I will just say that he is down in Tanuma's laboratory to be examined. But this is a threat that is not as minor as it looks. It was not just a milk run for me to go do. I know he thought this was amusing, specifically requesting that I go do it rather than what I should have been doing. But it's turned into something far larger.
Would you have rather that he was the one who was sent on this task? If that was true, likely these two would be dead.
Yes, and many more people would likely be dead. He's not very thorough. He's far too hot-headed. But we can worm these two in there. No joke intended, peep, by the worm comment. But we can get them in for evidence or supporting the claims since they're locals and they're used to the area, so that my word saying that this is new cannot be construed as this being something that was already there for a very long time.
Or being something that is so finite that it wouldn't be worth the attention of Sun Elves.
Mm-hmm.
It is a worthy point. In which case, what remains is the plan. You need something, you need many things to bring towards the council and to
Well, the gate itself
plan
needs to
of
be
attack.
protected from anyone approaching it with additional keys to unlock it. We were told they went to, where did they go? The fire plane or whatever, to go find the fire rock.
They went to a different continent. They went to the continent of Zalstella.
Yeah, that. He says that. They're clearly searching for the keys. So we need to prevent anyone from getting to it. It transported the entire city to that location. That is where the... I need to report to the High Elf King. He's the one that wanted that information. There's another point. His city is now not where it used to be. So we need to protect it from being entered by anyone who would see it open, but also to keep anything coming out of it inside of it.
Even the gate existing would be a threat.
Yes.
I think it's clear that the gate needs to be dismantled.
Yes, it is very reminiscent of the breach. It gives off a very similar energy of that incident.
Then I suppose we come up with your plans, come up with your terms, and then we will meet with the council when the moment is right. Unless you two have anything,
Is my volume better, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. Snow would say, because he doesn't know any better, he'd be like, don't you have armies you could send up there?
Yes. Let me explain something to you. We're already in a war. A war that requires a vast amount of resources, primarily also shepherding other forces under the ground. The world in which we live upon, well, the world you live upon, we are far above it, is inhabited by creatures that wish to destroy it and destroy everything and take control of everything. Many, 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 many aeons ago, there was a grand betrayal, and the offspring of those betrayers live below the earth and want nothing more than to destroy everything that exists upon the surface. And that is the focus of the Sun Elves. I was just down there trying to defend one of the few passages we know they use from endless hordes of spider priestesses and curious, horrifying creatures. The allegiances that we have had to make with monsters of the dark to protect this world. We are quite busy.
Cal, that is my point.
Snow is just like, he doesn't know what to say. He's like, oh.
He's Sabrel's like, I was going to go over this in the council meeting, but you got me started now. He's like, if they get a hold of the idea that they can open this gate further, then we're going to have more than just one war on our hands. It will be a bigger, larger one. It's already a potential world-ending threat as is. My suggestion is to leave a small force and let the Alliance handle the Usurper Elves. They are not a world-ending threat yet.
Do not tell them that.
We go deal with that. Well,
the other
they
factor...
will be if they get a hold of this.
The other factor is that our people were bred for war. Yes. But it has been over 700 years. And our people are still suffering a grave and terrible malaise. There has not been a child born in Hythundrel for 105 years. Our whole people are withered by that fact. Even the war is not bringing excitement. The passion of Valanche is not in the hearts of our people, even against an enemy that is so perfect for us. Admittedly, the terms of battle against the Underrealm are not our favored terrain. You cannot exactly bring phalanx of Pegasi into a cave and do a charge. It does not exactly work that way. But what I mean to say is that any motion that is not more than a stopgap will be responded to with hesitancy or overzealousness. Overzealousness could be just as much a danger as the hesitancy. If we take every single soldier in Hythundrel to this gate and it explodes again and all are lost, then all is lost.
Several's like, I'm not saying take everyone.
No, he's explaining to Snow, not so much you.
Several's
Of
like, that's
why-
not what I said.
Of why it's not just take an army. It is, but it's also what are the terms of that? What it's more than just go fight with stick, which admittedly is
Yeah.
what Snow is used to. Rally up the village and go smack some people. This is more than that.
Why don't we suggest that the sword takes your place down below? The rest of us, he can take his, or his brain, just what legion, is that what it is? Is that what the word is? Is that the English word for a group of soldiers?
It is.
know.
I don't
Whatever.
feel like Legion it would be the Sun Elven term, but I don't know what would
or
be.
he doesn't know what the word is
No.
right now.
They're Crusaders. Take his crusade. I don't know. Whatever.
His group, his
His boys.
his dogs,
The squad.
and go. He could take his group down there, and we can go with maybe Tanuma's help if she can examine it and see if she can find something else to way to stop it as well, dismantle it. He's like, I'm suggesting taking the dark elf with us. He's like, I like her, but he's like, I am making a concession here.
I think there is an unfortunate reality that no matter what route you suggest, there
There's
will
going to
be
opposition.
resistance, questions. This is why I am talking your ear off now, my love.
Mhm.
I am merely keeping you prepared.
Oh no, my plan, to be honest, we need to win over the shield. I don't care about the sword. I truly don't. We don't need a unanimous decision. We need a majority decision, or at least an even one.
It's around about that time that
What is this dog's name?
it's around about that time that Calravale will finish the enchantment ritual that he was writing. The silver band that was wrapped around Sabrael and Calravale's arms will burn and almost soak into the skin, and Calravale will test this bond of being able to share thoughts and feelings across temporal boundaries by plucking a cherry from the table and taking it to his lips, and of course Sabrael can taste the cherry as well, revealing that
Can
this
they,
bond
like,
has worked.
Can they also like so like sensations go through? Can they like tickle each other from like the other side of the world?
Yes.
Don't do
Tickle pie, wee.
Starts tickling himself. Like, ah, shit.
Oh jeez. Oh,
It's
sorry.
Any more questions for Cal? Any more preparants?
Can you help me get into my armor?
Darling, you do not need help getting into your armor. You are 900 years old.
That's
This is a
for the
puppy
problem.
doll, guys. Like, please.
You are a
tired.
bigger baby than Ballord is. And he will go to their matching armor stands and start helping
Listen,
Sabriel into his armor.
How old is
He knows
Cal
he's a
again?
baby.
Sorry.
Same age. Cal and
okay.
Sabriel are, I think, even literally born on the same day. Like, they are
There's reasons, TM,
they are
for that.
matched.
They,
No,
never
Sabriel
mind.
knows he's baby. He knows he's baby. Gets away with it sometimes.
Would I know if that tail ring's been complete yet? By the way, because it's been a few days, hasn't it?
It would be. You could go and pick that up.
I need someone to kick with me because they don't. That person didn't speak Common, and I don't Sun Elven. So I will need. Cal and Sabriel are busy. While they're both like getting dressed, like is it okay if someone can come with me and collect the tail ring? Because I think someone might try and put me in a box if they see me on my own. And also, I don't speak Sun Elven.
Snow's like, I can handle it. I'm sure. I'm sure. With me around, they wouldn't dare put you in a box.
I think they've put you in a bigger box. I think that's part of the issue.
Is Alina's attendant around anywhere?
Probably in the morning. Yeah.
Can he ask him to go with Peep?
Yeah. Absolutely. So you have this high elven knight, semi-retired, who is an attendant, wearing this white armor, and they've got like a buzz cut and everything. Like they're quiet, and it's like I will of course take this task, Sabriel, and escort your companions to the jewelers. And
Does he sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger?
he doesn't sound like Arnold. Now he does. Now he's got to. Now he's got to be on. Now you see. Now you've done
Why
it.
does he sound like the guy named Terminator?
Little dog, we're going to go to the jewelers and pick up your tail ring.
I'm not a dog, but okay.
All our dogs
Why is
beneath
everyone-
the might of Tundral.
Why,
Oh, God.
why do people always think
I don't know
they're a
if that's
dog?
canon. But yeah, you can go get it picked up. The tail ring, which it houses your warlock focus, essentially, is forged and built. It is a golden band that can slip onto your tail and off if you need it to, but it's also quite secure. It being Sun Elven, it isn't like a fine, delicate thing. It's pretty like chunky and heavy in a nice way. And there is, of course, the stone, which isn't a gemstone by any means. It is a it looks a bit more proper in this way, and they've presented it in such a way that the almost scales that have formed on your not magical stone are much more deliberate looking.
Oh. Yes.
And now, Peep has the drip.
I know it's drip.
Snow will be like, well, once you put it on, it'll be like, oh, that. I like the look of it.
Thank you. Yeah, it looks great. I feel a little bad that we don't. Well, I guess we can't really pay because they don't use gold. Still, it looks amazing. I love it. See, I told you I'd get it back, my girl. Come on.
I'm gonna ask our escort to say thank you on our behalf.
He will do a very... Because he is not a sun elf, he is a high elf. He does a very elaborate, honorable thanking display. There's a bow, there's like a poem.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, and we'll, escort you back.
I want to ask him where he's from. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put you on the spot.
I am from the city below. I am of... I've been sworn to the family of Lady Alina since the moment of my conception.
Wow.
Since before you were born?
Yes.
Oh. Snow is like, how old are you?
I am not as old as the elder elves in this city around me. Alina is only in her 2nd century. I am in my 4th. And it's of note, he looks older than Sabriel. Just a difference between high elven blood and also he's kind of a little like he's clearly seen some battles. He's a retired soldier.
I'm not even 6.
How can you speak?
I got taught it. My mom and dad taught me common.
They must have been geniuses.
Well, I'm just like thinking, just rattle off, just straight, like, just in Draconic, just like, I mean, I can speak Draconic, but I've always kind of known this. Probably just comes like, Arikotok, Barkrishvat.
He just like is walking and like the armor's jangling. And he's just looking at you, and he just looks back to the front. Like he doesn't have a response to that.
Snow is like, I can speak giant. Is that a banned tongue here?
It is a bad tongue here in the holy city.
Yeah, let's not speak giant.
Yeah, I was gonna say it wouldn't be a character. It was like, what if Snow just started like cursing the Elven gods in the middle of their city? Is he gonna get struck down?
He will see that look, and he will say, "The 3 faces of the sun would not take kindly to invoking the language of the ancient enemy flippantly."
So he was maybe about to speak up in giant, but he stops and he's like, "Oh."
And then you're back home. Sabriel's home, admittedly, not yours. By then, Sabriel is fitted in his armor, which is actually on Ori's Twitter. But you saw Caravel's armor before, so I can kind of describe it by comparison. Caravel, very heavy garb, it has this breastplate and has these 3 faces. And the Knight of the Sword had 2 faces. It's the same faces, but in different places. And Caravel's armor looked like it was made of gold. Sabriel's armor it almost looks like it's made of white gold. It also doesn't have the sheen as much either. It's like burnished and faded, and the faces are in a different order. 1 is on the chest, 2 on the shoulders. It's lighter than Caravel's by a level of comfort. It's just which they prefer, I guess. And it's a slightly different sort of color patterning and scheme to the rest of the Sun Elven stuff you've seen, but it still holds a lot of weight and importance. Unless there's any more details you want to... I mean, anything you want to say about the armor, feel free. No?
No. Sabriel.
Yeah.
Well, partially because... I'm going to have to take a break here in a second. So Sabriel is... I put a message in Discord. Sabriel is just mentally going through his checklist, getting ready to go. He's very methodical as usual, very orderly. But he's got all of his notes. He's got the two. Oh yeah, shit. He's got the two elemental souls in the orb in front of him, two in his pocket. That he's gonna bring in that I forgot about. The ones he got from Smart Mantle. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's got those. He's got the. Is the rock does it have legs now?
Does not have legs. It's not like you took a seed. What you have is a rock that just when you put it on you have a Mexican jumping bean. You put it on the table and it just kind of wiggles and moves. No, you failed to catch a pet rock. It was all there and written in
He's
stone.
Still waiting for it to grow legs. Okay, he thinks
he looks to Cal and it's like he's like the Cal is like soon it will grow legs and Cal just like are you fading again? Are you starting to go the way of Balord?
Feed it some rocks.
It doesn't have a mouth. No, he's gonna. I guess he's gonna bid Alina goodbye for the day. Take all of his evidence, his drawings, his paintings, and his sketchbook of the thing, of everything we encountered. He made a sketch of the mural and the Vikings. God, brain. Giants place that we. What did I just do? I hit a button.
It's fine.
Everything.
Sure. You get everything ready to go to the council meeting when we get back from a break. Okay. We'll might be a bit of a long break, we've got some stuff to sort out. So we'll be back after. Hello, and welcome back to Jarviskjir, Rock of the North. The party is getting ready to go to amass the Council of the Sun Elves. Of course, the first thing that needs to be done is that Cal and Sabrael need to go and get Ballard. Who is, of course, going to be at the council meeting. And because both Cal and Sabrael are going, it means the other two have to go too. So, unless you want to just go, Cal, I can lead them away.
Where are they going to go?
Yeah, exactly. Cal could lead them, but, you know, Cal is also usually on Ballard wrangling duty.
They both are, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a two-man job.
It's Sabrael's official job.
When you have a like extremely high level sorcerer paladin multi-class with dementia, you have two people looking after him.
Yeah.
Okay. You can, yeah, exactly. Waltz up to Ballard's chambers, and when you open the door, you immediately hear the sound of multiple women giggling from somewhere in Ballard's palace.
These are sounds that Snow is not used to.
Sabrael's trying to decide if it's the Fey woman again.
No, it doesn't seem. No, it's a noticeably high elven French giggle.
Okay, that's less of a problem.
Yeah, I'll do the giggles.
Thank you.
Calls out for him. Oh, hi.
Cal just looks at Sabrael and be like, he's not going to respond to being called. He's not a hound.
Fine. He just goes in, Sabrael, full armor, just like, alright.
You find Ballard in his bathing chamber, which is like a full room, like with like waterfall baths, with two high elven escorts, with fluffy hair. Everyone's naked. Everyone's having a great time.
Sabrael sets the orb where it goes.
Like you walk in, just like put it on the pedestal. Walk in.
Alright, ladies, I apologize for interrupting what looks like a fairly pleasant time, but I need the Lord Protector for a very important meeting.
What? No, Sabrael. No, these lovely ladies are here to help me with my bath.
It's time to wrap the bath up, Ballard. We have to go.
Go where?
The council meeting.
Oh, I suppose he'll stand up and he'll like kind of he is 110 1,100 years old. He would slap both of the women on the bottom to encourage them to leave again, very gently, but admittedly he is also very strong. And he steps out of the bath and there's just kind of like a flex, and of course the inner sunlight just dries him off in like a and he does kind of like,
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he looks to Sabrael and be like, Sabrael, those lovely creatures are called women. I know you wouldn't know about that.
Have a wife.
And then he would just start getting dressed. He does immediately kind of like tumble over trying to put on his socks, I guess. So you're gonna have to help Ballard get dressed in his Gallord. help Ballard get dressed in his full council-ready regalia.
Yeah.
Which would probably be a little more armored than he actually usually typically wears, because now he's more of a sorcerer. Well, now he just wears his pajamas all the time. But he would have like his old armor on, at least on the chest plate and the pauldrons, which is noticeably not really very fancy. Like, it's fancy because it's Sun Elven, but by Sun Elven garbs, Ballard's old armor is the armor of a lieutenant crusader. It's not like the armor of the Lord Protector. It's less fancy than Cal and Sabrael's when he's wearing it. It's part of the the charm. He went up through the ranks of being a crusader like nearly everyone else. But yes, you can get Ballard dressed. You get Ballard ready. Ballard walks out and goes to pick up the orb on the pedestal.
Not even gonna stop him. Just
Yes! He does even,
I'm
like,
not
stop
naked right
before
now.
picking it up. And look back. And then just... pick up the Orb of Foundations. And it'll start, like, clicking and moving and whirring around his hand. It's like...
That'd be really embarrassing if the way Elven society died is just because Ballard accidentally crashed the city onto the city below it. It's like all of Elven society just got a huge blow to it.
Sabrael's worst fear is just Independence Day happening with the
Oh
island.
no!
Too fast, too furious.
Now watch us drive!
Oh,
Yes! Ballard's gonna Tokyo drift the city into the ground.
Look, I can drift this bitch about
He's gonna drift it right into the donut. Right into the gate. It solves all the problems.
Hey, Peep, did you know that if you squeeze it, it makes a horn noise?
The funny thing is it definitely has to. It has to have some kind of horn. Is the thing that's funny about that. There has to be like a command in the orb to make like the bells ring. So...
or like the horn at Helm's Deep, where it's like just a big old horn poking out the top. It goes.
I mean, yeah, probably.
Tornado sirens.
It would be the one in Lake Town where it's just like 3 dudes.
Just fucking bomber just. It just summons a dwarf. It just summons an ethereal dwarf just to.
Single toot of the ethereal horn. Anyway, with that silliness out of the way, you guys are ready to have your council meeting. If
I don't
Ori
die
doesn't
first.
die beforehand, which would be a social faux pas, but would, help the Knight of the
Incredibly
Swords, strategy. So, the council meetings are not held in a grand palace chamber. They are held on a grand palace balcony. This was an area where Sabrael's father spent a lot of time. It is nearly exactly the very top of the city, where there are these like white marble gardens with these plants in boxes and whatnot, and there is a slightly crescent-shaped white marble table with a great number of chairs. Before you step through the archway, like officially into the council gardens, do you want to bring Teeny and Tiny in with you, or have them like come in later?
What would be the more tactically sound option?
They'll probably be less pissed if they are brought in after a bit. Like they're out there, they're inside and then are ushered in at some point.
Okay. I love how the Textify caught me coughing and typed hack
That is pretty good.
It's learning.
It is learning.
It did. It typed hack.
That's really good.
It's making fun of me.
Being
Yeah,
bullied.
he'll, I guess, ask them to wait a few moments. That way, Sword Bro doesn't, come after them immediately.
Yeah, you can wait
He's
in
already
like.
been pissy about Peep.
Yeah. They can wait in like there would be a where you walk up to this, gardens, there would be like a covered area, with statues and fountains, and it's actually remarkably dark, which is the point, and curtains and things. So you could wait there, so you could hear what was going on and stuff and see, but not actually be part of the meeting proper. So, Calval would go in first and settle Ballord in. Ballord, of course, has a seat at the middle. And it is also ritualistic to bring your weapon and to lay it upon the table. And so Ballord does so, not with the Orb of Foundation, but with a kind of stately staff. Like a kind of crown rod staff. Calavale doesn't have any weapons. He's that much of a cleric, so he doesn't have anything as he kind of sits down politely at the seat next to Ballord, and then Sabrael is on the seat next to that, right on the edge. And then the other three are on the other three. On the other side of the table. But they are coming. Are you going to sit at the table and wait for them? Or lurk around, or mingle at the entrance?
Does Sabriel want to swing his dick by being the last one in there?
That is kind of the question I'm asking, yes.
Yeah, he gonna wait.
Okay. It would actually be the Knight of the Shield, who is the next person here, which you guys haven't met yet. The Knight of the Shield is as old as Sabriel and Calavale, but she seems to wear her age a lot more. She has long, kind of almost bluish silver hair that's like almost like a waterfall around her neck and shoulders and things, and kind of covers her face, and her eyes are kind of a very rich blue, and they're just kind of old and a little distant. But she's still wearing this really quite heavy Sun Elven armor. It's like a medium armor, it's not like the full Crusader armor. It has all these kind of engravings of battle scenes and things upon it, and these big gauntlets that go up to the past the elbow and have like fire burning in spheres at the back of the hands. The Knight of the Shield, Caliborde Rafael, she will slowly approach the table. She will take off the gauntlets of the on-burning sun, and clank them down onto the table and sit. After that would be the Knight of Eagles, who actually does not come from the stairs. She lands from above somewhere, probably jumping off a Pegasus. The Knight of the Eagles is the Knight of Scouts and Archers and all of that sort of thing. And she, obviously seems that way. She wears much lighter garb. She has kind of a face war paint around her eyes that's very dark, that she's worn for so many years. She's the youngest one of the council. But even then, for so many years that like her face is just now permanently, it's almost like a tattoo. Yes, Quill, I see that look on your face. Yes, she's the hot one. She's the hot, edgy bitch.
I love her.
She's also the Legolas here. And she will literally, like, she has a bow, and she will take it, and the bow will come apart into two short swords that she will spin and put on the table. Because she is that bitch.
And in marriage.
And And she then also sits back in her chair, and noticeably her chair, it already was, but it's even more so when she sits in it, is physically further away from the table. That's where she actually likes it, and she will put her feet up on the table. The last to arrive, who thinks he's being the big dick by arriving last, is the Knight of the Sword, LoFiJoeToons. Oh, the Knight of Eagles, by the way, her name is Goma Arvadani. So just Goma. And the Knight of the Sword, LoFiJoeToons, he's trying to be the big dick by coming here last, but he's not. You saw him, of course, yesterday or the day before. He comes in with his full armor, which again is it's similar to Cal's and Sabriel's in that they have a very similar role in the society and the army, with the faces of the sun, but it's full, like full knightly armor. It's lighter than that of the other Crusaders in like it's just finer and pointed and stuff. And will get to his seat, look around, making one. He will raise his hand, summon his rapier, and then just put it down on the table. It would be a long blade, not a rapier, but yeah, just put it down on the table and sit. And that's when, of course, Sabriel can roll on in.
Sabriel's gonna... Cal could probably tell Sabriel's up to some shit.
Yes, you even, like, this, Cal will even, like, see that look from Knight of the Sword and be, I don't know wherever he would be. Me? I do not know everything about my husband.
Liar. Sabriel's going to pat Peep. Be like, he's gonna actually wink at him, right? He's like,
Sabriel's in his element.
Sabriel's ready to knock some heads, and he's pissed. So he's going to stride in.
You weren't sure to say strut or stride there, were you?
Yes. He's gonna do the runway walk in. He's gonna Thranduil his way in.
Yes!
But as he's walking in, he makes the ghosts visible as he's walking.
The ghosts of the ancestors! Of course, who...
He makes eye contact with nobody, as he does, either.
Of course, and the interesting about the ghosts of the ancestors here is that they are, they're around the table, they're around the kind of the corners and things, and this is one of those ones where you can definitely see your dad here. He's, in fact, he's standing at a, part of the balcony that overlooks the city the best. That he's actually stood with you many a times when you were a wee bab. And noticeably that gets like a couple of like maybe smirks and smiles, but Knight of the Shield, her eyes are just wider because she actually can kind of do this too. She can't summon them. She has way less control, but she has a similar kind of power to you, ish. But, like, less deliberate. Okay. A bit like how some of Balord's powers only come out when he's angry. It's a bit like that. But she's also just like... And so you can only see, like, one of her eyes just, like, looking around. The other one's, like, covered in hair because her hair isn't, like, completely perfectly prepared. And
yeah, he does that. He doesn't make eye contact with anyone in particular. He takes note of the expressions. And he walks up and he sets his dad's sword down. His dad's sword. It's his dad's sword. He sets it down. And then he sits down. Leans back.
The Knight of the Sword will lean forward and be like, lad, you could make it on time to your own meeting that you arranged.
If I caught the time correctly, the meeting started when I arrived.
No. Meetings arrive whenever meetings want to. This council meeting is For something important. Yes, that'll do. Ballard will just kind of like settle back in his seat, and the Knight of Eagles, Goma, will just kind of like raise her hands, like, and then just kind of like, please illuminate us. Make it clear why you've gathered us all together here today. I know myself, I would rather be amongst the forest and amongst the birds than sitting here enjoying everyone's company. You are muted, Ori. I knew it would happen too. I was watching and
I was
waiting.
muted because the birds are screaming at a car alarm outside.
It's canon. There's birds in this garden.
She's still screaming. She's just flying around screaming. If it's not the kid, it's the birds. Why? He looks at her and he gives her a slight, as much of an emotive smile as Sabril is known to give to anyone. Don't trust them not to dive bomb me right now. They keep trying. But he nods. There are many places I believe we all would much rather be. But this task that we all decided I was to go investigate. He looks at the sword, bro. Has come to be something that is, in all likelihood, a threat that needs our attention more so than the annoyances down below. And he starts pulling out his notes. That
Yes,
he's got like his notebook.
Yes, it does. The Knight of the Sword was big. Yes, of course. Calravale here is the only one who is a legitimate member of this council who has been spending time beneath the earth, spying upon our enemies. Can you give us information on that? And Cal will kind of roll his shoulders. I am here to support my husband's investigation into exceedingly dangerous threats, but yes, the usurper elf threat is real, and yes, we have lost crusaders down there. If you want further information, I'll be glad to tell you it when this meeting is adjourned. For now, we should listen to what Lord Alphalion has to say. I believe it will be of grave importance.
Getting that off by my birds. Cyber will nod along with that and not try to be too leaning into Cal on anything, if that makes sense. Words are hard today. But he'll start explaining how he'll explain what it is to ad lib, not ad lib.
Yeah, you can go over the basis of like,
Yeah.
there is this ring, you can go over the history bit.
Yeah, he'll bring out his notes and explain it and give a presentation and tell people to not ask any questions until the presentation is done. He will show the little souls in the stone. He won't show he'll show the vibrating rock jumping beam that's not a pet rock.
Yeah, it's much less impressive than the other stuff. I mean, maybe that's just on the table while you're doing it.
He'll mention Grim and where he's at. And he'll show the drawings of the mural in the giant's lair, the notes he got with the city, everything that we've got so far. He'll just present all of that, and then let the discussion start before he starts suggesting anything to see what their input is.
Do you want to bring
Also,
the...
he'll mention that the other two are out there, that they have direct, like, knowledge of the area.
Oh,
and...
we should bring them in. They have all... Surely more information is greater. There has never been a reason to allow simple beings of the mud into this council garden. I do not believe we should be entertaining such frivolous ideas now for Sabriel's fancy.
Is someone stagnating? Afraid to move on with current times and updated ways of gathering information?
Is the updated ways you have collecting a menagerie of creatures?
It's called doing a thorough investigation, my dear child. He just looks to Ballard like, can we bring them in now instead of dealing with this petty bullshit?
Yeah, Ballard will wave you two in. Peep and Snow.
Alright.
Yeah. Snow walks in his regal gown that doesn't exist, but he wishes it did.
In his mind, you are
his
very
mind.
well dressed.
Yeah.
In reality, you were wearing the same set of trousers you've had since the beginning of the campaign.
Yeah.
He pulled down a curtain from Sabriel's, like, window.
No, he wouldn't do that, but that's really funny to think
It
about.
looks rather dashing.
Oh. Yeah, no, he looks like a peasant. Like a lumberjack, basically.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Hello?
Snow would do a bow, but he doesn't know what an elven bow is, so it's just going to be like a normal one for him.
Sabriel's going to present them, and he's going to present Peep as a servant of whatever the Silver Dragon Lady's name was.
Colborn.
Yeah. And he's going to look at Peep like, just go with it. It'll sound better.
There's like a moment of like,
Something about this creature brings me grave concern, says the Knight of the Shield, kind of unable to look at either of them.
What do you mean?
Do not take her seriously. She believes that everything brings her grave concern.
It is her job.
These are definitely interesting creatures. Did they see everything that you saw?
And they're local to the area, so they can confirm that this was not something that was ever present.
I have
Can
no
you?
idea these things are. Well, I mean, I can't confirm when stuff like the big ring appeared, but I do know that there had been nothing going on weird in Lendr or the surrounding area up until I started adventuring around with Sabriel. I mean, there was a ruin that was filled with skeletons, and then there was a Grendel that stole a goblin
I believe
artifact.
it's a Grundle.
Was it a Grendel?
I'm sorry.
Anyway, it was one of those two, and it ran off with a goblin artifact, and we chased it down for days until it went to the ring, and it tried to use the goblin artifact to activate the ring. It's something about going back to stone, and then we managed to beat it. I nearly died like twice, but we beat it, and then we found there was quite a few of those what were they? Peep turns around and like does like a circle on the back of his head. Those people and this
The hobgoblins.
Yes. I mean, they were there was one of them that was actually nice and had left, and apparently a bunch of them have went to another continent to look for a thing.
Yes.
Several will elaborate that that's the keys that they're look like what he had already explained.
There are monks, apparently.
Well, there we have it. There are goblin monks that want to end the world, and I think we can all agree that this is a very important problem. We know of Grendels. We know what they are, but Grendels are not organized or even animated. It would make sense that this gate is bending the will of elemental creatures. Yes, Peep! Yes! The little one has something to say! Yes, let's all listen to the little dragonling.
Oh my god! Just a big brain idea. So, well, it must have, because the Grendel had been really weird and was like stony and dusty, and then we found a wolf that was also like stony and dusty, and well, reach into the backpack and pull out that strength potion that we made ages ago.
First one?
Like the cursed potion that we was like, and I just sure we had this made by an alchemist in Lendr, and it was from a bit of the wolf that was all stony and dusty, so it might have a clue on what's going on with all these things.
Before you can see, you're like still have it in your hand, and it's gone from your hand, and the Knight of Eagles has it.
We could have Tanuma look at it.
I can look at it. We don't always need a dark elf to solve questions.
He's like, yeah, you're right. He's not antagonistic towards her at all. He likes her. It's the other two he doesn't like.
Look, I will believe rumors that there are creatures that have been turned by the stone. A wolf that was spitting fiery sand and fire is clearly not natural. The term for these are mutants. If this gate is producing elemental energy that is making mutants, then even that is a danger. But is it a danger that we deal with? I don't know.
The place is giving off a similar feeling and appearance to that of fucking Beholder's name.
Grandma?
Yeah.
Grandma D's nuts. I'm sorry.
She is head on.
Cramon, the giver of gifts.
No, we were talking before the stream started, chat. I'm sorry, it was an inside joke about
Cramon, it gives a similar feeling and look to what we encountered in the breach with him.
If it is the bending of reality to the whim of another realm, then it would have dire effects on the local population and the people and the lives and the creatures, and even the soldiers that we take would suffer horrible mutations. And Ballard would leave was like, I know that one. We were there. We were there
yes.
at the breach. None of you were, but we were.
Speaking of which, Sabriel is going to ask his dad to walk forward and explain what he cut off of the Grendel. Because his dad's the one that cut the orb off of the Grendel's pocket. If Dad can do that.
No, that won't happen.
Okay.
You can look expectantly, and as you look, the angle, you can just clearly see a hole in your dad's chest.
No, Sabriel's trauma does not need to come back.
Yeah, trying to deal too much with the ghost is not necessarily a good idea.
No, Sabriel's didn't look at him either.
So there is a let me explain this to the best of my understanding. This gate, of which you do not know the origin of, is a massive construct that is potentially a breach between this realm and the realm of elementals, the primordial plane. Is that correct?
That would seem to be the origin of it, yes. Yes, Pete.
I just remembered as well when you said about the origin, when we were dealing with the goblin artifacts and we came back from the place with the nice hobgoblin that left the monk people, we found a ruin of the giants and it had a big mural on it that had the ring.
Sabriel shows the painting as he does show the pictures that he made of the ring and Slate Port Cove, whatever. That's Pokemon, right? Slate Cove.
Slate Cove. So this ring, was it made by giants? I feel like if we're going to go and attack something, we should know what it... We're not humans. If we're going to attack something, we should know what it is.
Good job, you've learned strategy.
Now that was Balor.
Yes. It sounded like Valor, and it sounded like Saltspire,
Look,
which I have
there's
associated with
a lot of
asshole.
voices to do.
Okay, in which case I take that back. Several didn't say that. He's
You wouldn't
thinking it,
sass
though.
Ballard.
No, I mean he would, but not in front of everybody else. No, yeah, Sabral's gonna be like, no, it's definitely a magical creation. He explains again for everyone present the process in which the hobgoblin told him this thing had been created. He also explains what Grimm says from his point of view when everything suddenly happened.
Well, what you can describe is how the stone rise. Did you know how the ring... What the origin of the
Well,
ring
he
is?
said
Why
there
it's a
was a
portal to the other
ritual.
realm?
He said there was a ritual, and like we learned this. It was a ritual that they had. They raised the gate.
Yeah, but
And
the
that
gate...
It's like Ori likened this because so I could remember it to Tartarus. That's as far as my brain got. But
As far as it seems, the gate was already there. It was just underground.
Yeah.
So you
yeah.
don't know what the actual origin of the gate
was a
is and why
giant
it's a breach
structure,
between
wasn't it?
realms.
Because wasn't it?
Well-
Didn't we find out when we did lore keeping on that big mural that it was a gate made by the giants to lock away the elementals?
The
Yeah,
giants
right?
saw
That's what the mural
something
said.
like that. You don't know for sure.
well, anyway, he'll explain what the mural said as the origin of it. He'll explain that as of right now. That is what the information I have in regards to where it came from.
Snow would also at some point bring up the fact that when the burst of energy happened more recently, that it like brought to life elemental creatures from stone.
It
Like
birthed them.
Yeah,
Like,
it birthed creatures from stone on a bridge.
It'll present the wiggling rock that's not quite a being. It's just a bouncy rock, but like this was
Yeah.
part of a bridge.
And it
So he
was,
said
and
it
Snow would emphasize that it was like, he wouldn't think in terms of miles, but he would say it was however many days travel away from the ring, and it still had that powerful of an effect.
He'll explain, he'll
Alright.
look at Cal and be like, yo, you felt it down there as well.
Yes, that is true. There's some low rumblings amongst the people. There's the question of I guess that there is always a question of what this thing is and why it is. I guess is also the question too. Why is there a portal to the primordial plane that is so big and was underground? But those are questions you can't answer. And I suppose it would get to the point of like rumbling, and there would be rumbling too where Gong would be like, unnatural birth of creatures is not right and should be stopped. But this is the realm of humans. Is it not beyond them to stop this? Or is it beyond them to stop this?
I would say yes.
I mean, there's not really many places that have an organized force that can deal with this kind of thing. I mean, I'm from Lendr, and there's only really some guards and some militia. If they all went off to go and try and destroy the ring, I mean, that leaves both the town open, and I don't think there's enough people to get the job done.
They're also not blessed with the abilities and resources at our disposal, but this also is not just affecting the humans. Yes, the epicenter is up there, but it clearly is being felt far wider than just its direct center.
Beyond that, the lands of the north are still recovering from the war several years back. The warlords, the hobgoblins.
Well then,
Several's also mentally like, do we ever trust the humans to do anything right? Also, like...
well then we are clearly in some kind of agreement that this ring is a threat to the region and potentially the globe. But then, if it's a threat, what do we do about it? Do we fight? Do we approach? Do we... There would be so many souls lost if this were to go wrong, to go poorly. More so than with the spider elves below the surface of the earth.
Which is why we should deal with it. I think we should probably surround it and keep anyone from getting too close. That way they can't continue to open it. But also we need to deal with everything coming out of it. But we also need to find a way to dismantle it. So we would need someone to research it directly, which... Do we have someone or the high elves that can go do this? Or do we need to find other assistance?
If it's a magic circle, the circle can be broken. We can break stone.
I don't think we should just try and break it without knowing what the repercussions of doing that are going to be.
Why should we listen to Sabriel on all of these affairs? What would you have us do? If there is this threat, you would have us worry around and parley and find a scientist from the new world that you're so fascinated with now to go and research the issue like a young babe. Will that bring back our glory? Our glory is beneath the earth. That will bring the glory of Avandor upon us, and the mercy of Dinnervale will be once with us again, and we will be able to continue onward and survive.
There are many things he wishes to say right now, but first thing he's going to say is you wouldn't know the will of Avandor or the mercy of Dinnervale if they spoke to you directly and pushed it in your face.
Oh shit.
We are not going to continue to survive by staying and stagnating the way we are currently going. The usurper elves, yes, they are a threat, but they are not a world-ending threat. Last time I checked, our purpose is dealing with such world-ending threats. For the moment, we can assist with the usurper elves, but I think our larger focus should be the actual world-ending threat. The Alliance can deal largely with the elves below the surface. If they get a hold of this ring and decide they wish to open it, then we'll have a larger problem on our hands. He looks to the shield. He looks to her because he's playing on her paranoia right now.
She is, her eyes are kind of like looking back and forth as she's thinking, and Calvera will speak up and like, I have spent time with amongst usurper elves, fighting them. The Everhold Alliance is a group of soldiers, wood elves, dwarves, even humans, who have united against the usurper elf threat and the threat of their whole treaty of the deep. As illuminated to us by Telefenos, there is not just one threat beneath the earth, there are many working in allegiance. Their alliance is a counterance to that. And they can defend for a time. What is most likely certain is that the Everhold Alliance could do nothing against this ring. I do not know many who could deal with threats to the realm. Other realmly entities entering. If we are Celestials, if we are born with the light of the sun within us, then I think that we could... Then this task is for us. And the shield was saying, there has not been a child born with the light for 105 years.
Severa's gonna look to Cal and be like, do you want to tell them?
Cal will defer to your judgment.
Sabrel is going to... Who said it?
The Knight of the Shield.
He's gonna look at her and again play on her paranoia because that seems to be what's the plan today. This is not Ori knowing how to do this. Anyway, listen, I worked 911 for far too long. He's gonna look at her and be like, well, that may be changing in coming months. And we need to protect that.
What does that mean, Sabrael? That may be changing in coming months? What is that? That's nothing. You're coming to this table with nothing. Parlance, talk, and party tricks.
Several's gonna look at him, and he's like, alright, I've had it with this child's bullshit. He says that to Cal mentally, like, I'm done.
Ah! Cal just, noticeably, sits, pushes his chair back a little and sits back.
Several just walks over. This is a fucking parliament meeting. Several just walks over and puts his hands down on the desk in front of him, one arm down like this, and he's just like, I know you've been too busy up until recently, few years chasing the young Araval. But I'm sure you know that when a male puts himself somewhere into a female, a child is produced. Do I need to describe to you the anatomy of such a thing, or do you see where I'm going with this?
Snow is blushing.
Several is like, alright, I'm
looks
done.
confused.
Peep has the kobolds and the...
What is Cal's reaction to
Kobolds
this,
and the
by the way?
Cal is just sitting back. Cal's reaction is gay. He sits back and is amused by his husband being dramatic.
Sabriel's being assertive.
Yeah.
No.
What about Ballard? What is Ballard's
Ballard
face?
is confused. Gomer is the one who she kind of picks at her fingernails and is like, everyone at this table knows how sex works.
Oh, I'm glad.
Snow covers Peep's ears.
The question is, what is your point?
The point is, Alina is pregnant.
Oh, congratulations!
Ballard,
Ballard, you knew this. We told you. If this is true, then this is a perhaps an omen. And Gobo will wave her hand, and like you're now quite close to Gobo, and she will even sit down and be like, "A child in the womb is not a child in the hand.
Yeah.
If that child is born with the light, then surely it's a great omen. In a few years, it's going to be a while."
Yes. But do we have a few years of this world-ending threat comes to light fully? That is my point.
It would be possible to sequester the city away above. If we are in the sky, then we are beyond the threat of the earth. No,
Since when
we
did
would
we hide?
And the Night Sword will look at Sabriel. That is correct. We do not hide from such threats.
The city is made of earth, is it not?
Just agree with me. Sharpnell's like, hold up, wait a minute, I need to document this.
Yes, the city is made of earth, Snokon. And while you did not feel the tremor before, if left unchecked, then it is like Balord. Balord is a wellspring of the sun's radiant energy. And if he is unchecked, he would burn extremely brightly and burn a hole through the ground. This ring would do the same, and it would be possible. And he will like kind of look directly to like the Knight of the Sword and the Knight of the Shield. But it would be possible to put this problem away in a dark room and let it linger. And maybe the holes it make you won't fall into. That is possible. It is possible. But it is not right to allow it to make such holes. We should act. Whether it's to destroy the ring or dismantle it, this magic must be stopped. Then everyone kind of looks at Sabriel, the one who makes the strategies.
He's gonna explain what he said to Cal in the breakfast. Like, we send someone down below to continue the work down there. We can collectively decide who that is. But I think our other, he's going to hate saying this, our other commander of offensive forces, and he looks at the Knight of the Sword, should be the one to handle dealing with the usurper elves for now. The rest of us, maybe most of us, not all of us, I think probably someone should hang back in the event something is needed, but the rest of us can take our people to surround this ring, prevent people going in and out, research it, and deal with the problem in whatever way we deem the best way to deal with it. I can't give a definitive answer on how we're going to deal with it until we figure out why are you like this? What is wrong and what has happened. Pixel, I hate it.
We cannot move the city to this threat. I've had visions of buildings falling and crashing against the ground. It's connected. It's this. It must be. Says the Knight of the Shield. That other sword kind of ponders and thinks. You are correct that we need a strong command to face this threat. And it will need us to act in a way we haven't acted in a long time. You are correct, Sabriel, we have been stagnant. Therein I make my proposition. I would not command the armies below. I would seek to destroy this threat, this ring, either by dismantling it or by studying it, whatever is necessary. I will take command as Lord Protector. For our Lord Protector now sits drooling upon his chiseled chin. If we are to act and move and change, we need someone who can act and make those tactical decisions in the moment. And
who says that needs to be you? We are trying to aid Balord in returning to his former state. As you can probably remember, I was in a similar state many years ago.
It is
but
possible
I have
to
since
bring...
recovered.
It is possible to bring people back from this brink. This battle will rejuvenate Balord. There is no reason to suggest dethroning him. He would cease to be if you forced that upon him.
Sabriel definitely mentally connects to Cal right now. Like, no, he definitely needs to go down there and get out of the way because he's clearly making a power grab.
The Knight of the Sword kind of raises his hands. Regardless of who it is, my proposition, I will edit. Lord Protector Balord Rulius, I suggest, should be dethroned so that a new Lord Protector can take his stead and take charge of these two crises. Who are in agreement. And the Knight of the Shield will kind of think and tentatively, like, put her hand on the table. The Knight of Eagles kind of looks up in the sky and will, like, move her chair closer and put her hand on the table. Which means there are 3 votes to remove Balord. Cal looks at Sabriel like... And will think into your mind and be like, this would kill him.
Yep, that's his thought.
Balord is sullen at this conversation. He's kind of sunk into his chair a little, which only kind of makes the argument of Lafador more valid, because he's, like, not quite radiant. You know, his eye is distant.
Sabriel's trying to think of a way to reverse Shield or more Eagles than Shield, but their thoughts. Is there a way that he can think of that would reverse their vote?
I don't know, Sabriel. Is there?
I'm trying to see if there's a roll I could make or something, is what I'm asking.
I definitely would allow you, like, to... You would make an argument and make a persuasion check. Well, for either of them, or both. If it's a more personal argument to them, then that you could talk to each of them separately. You know, this isn't necessarily, you know, the votes don't... You're elves. Votes take a while, you know. You can have a sidebar.
My question is, are either one of them old enough to know when Sabriel was out of commission for a while?
Oh, all of them are. Yeah. But I don't think it was very public. And the Knight of the Shield was there when at the battle with Cramon. Not specifically the Battle of Cramon, but at that war. Like, she's old enough to remember all of... Well, she's old enough to theoretically remember all of that. She is also fading like Balord.
Sorry, real quick. Which one suggested the idea of swapping him out?
That would be the Knight of the Sword, who originally suggested swap it. He takes the place, but is now just settling for the lesser vote of we just remove Balord right now, so that then later on there can be another discussion about who takes the place.
Snow's taking note of this and glaring at that guy.
We've got Victor Saltspire,
he's like stood up over the table with his hands on either side of his little place.
Doesn't really make sense to me to remove him now if it's gonna take a while to figure out who takes his place.
This is not a matter that your input is necessary in at all.
But his input is correct. We should not even be speaking of this at the moment before any decision on whomever would take his place. I don't think that every time I say a word, it's every word.
The fact that it didn't do it when you said is even better.
She's screaming, and I don't know why. It's
She baby.
particularly Pixel. She's angry today. There's probably a spider in the cage. I don't care, but Ballard will be brought back by this fight. Once we get there and get into it, then he would begin to recover. I can personally attest to this, as I have been brought back from this. He is not the only one here beginning to lose himself.
You can give me 3 persuasion rolls for each.
So he's like,
board
he's sitting
member.
here like, listen, if Ballard has to go, then y'all
Shield has
need
to
go
go.
too.
Yeah, which
Are these just flat persuasion rolls?
yeah. That's pretty good.
That guy went down 4 each time.
It did go down 4 each time. So funnily enough, I was doing it in the order of the table. So the crit was against the Knight of the Sword.
Eat shit!
Your personal assurance. You kind of look at him, and he puts a hand on the shoulder of the Knight of the Shield. Because when you remember that Lathador is kind of the carer for the Knight of the Shield, just like you are the carer for Ballard. And clearly that kind of actually struck a nerve with him, but not in a way that he's angry, in a way that he's like, oh shit, and like kind of takes it back. Your assurance that once this battle is done, and it is clear that it must be done, with this action, with it's one battle or many, or occupying a magical ring with the forces of the Solar Guard, then when it is done, if there is no improvement, those who fade should be removed, so that our people can have fresh. Yes, if it is your assurance, Sabriel, personally.
He just motions to himself, like, look, bro, I look better than ever.
He's not saying, can it be done? He's
No,
saying,
I
if
know,
it's not done.
I know. He's being a smartass. He doesn't say it. He's thinking it. Cal probably agrees, but he's thinking it. He actually is not pissy with him right now because he actually seems like he's seeing sense for once. So we can make that determination when this is done on what needs to be replaced and what does not. But if we are in agreement that we must move forward, we need to decide who goes below and who goes there. Unless all of us go.
This is your battle, Sabriel. You are the one with knowledge. You are the one who should lead. I have many soldiers. We could, if not the city, we could move entire towers and gardens. There are towers that can summon enough sunlight to be a burden on the structure of the ring itself. And Goma will nod. She was the one who wasn't convinced by your little speech, actually, which makes sense because she's the youngest one here. She's the one who's like, eat the rich. New blood, new blood.
But he likes her.
I know. She's a little, and she which is surprising that she doesn't agree with you, but she also doesn't actually agree with you all that often. She's the wild card here who flips the vote, but she kind of lets out a bit of a hum, and actually will take a flute from part of her armor where it kind of actually just like slides in, and will kind of like just kind of blow down the edge of it. My scouts, my arrows, they would be very well suited to this sort of task. What you will have to worry about is more of these events. There will be no resting if it is occupation. Yeah, and Calvary will actually not admit it will actually be quite similar to the battle beneath the surface in the Underrealm. There we could not create camps, for our enemy knew the terrain so well. I will tell you. I think there is... Cal and Lafador are blending together so often. I will tell you that there is nothing quite as spry as a usurper elf. They can worm into any sort of position. My point being, we could not make camps. We could not prepare. Now we are in an advanced situation. Our people do not need the rest that humans would. Do not need the supply lines. We could take a small number of towers, a small crusade. He says with a smile at even the concept, because it's usually all or nothing for Sun Elves. But it would not be prolonging the situation would be a tire to our people, and our people cannot handle the exhaustion as we once did. Long gone are the age of stories where Sun Elves would fight for years on end against marauding giants without even a wink of blessed meditations. What you're saying is that if it were to strike, it should either be quick, or it should be, as Sabriel suggested, a deliberate and prepared operation. Yes, there are certain circumstances where such investigations could be continued while soldiers wait in the wings. If we keep our towers high, even perhaps a part of this city high, it would be immune to the effects of this magic, if you are correct. Now, you are saying that this ring only affects elemental earth. If it were to affect the wind, our entire strategy would have to shift. No longer would the Pegasi be of our use, no longer would the towers.
That is why we need to make sure no one gets to it to give it the air key, or whatever it is called, or I forgot. But Sabriel's calling it a key.
They're keystones.
Yeah. Sabriel, as long as it does not have the air stone, then it is not a problem. But we need to ensure no one gets to it. Our informant was able to tell us they were looking for the Firestone.
Then I will go and look for them. They're on this other continent, the continent of Zalstella. I will go with a small troop of my scouts. We will ride on the wind. We will keep an eye out for elemental wind, of course, Lathador, and see if we can't find any sign. Operate both things at once. So, to war then. Are we in agreement? Everyone will put their hand on the table, tentatively or not. And everyone knows their place. I know I certainly do. We move
There's
out.
Party in the background.
We stop this threat to the realm as we know it. And Ballard will creak as he stands up and start to leave. And this is a great place to take a little break. As we've had the meeting, but now it's time for the after meeting. Whew.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Sabriel's gonna have to cheer Ballard up. He can tell he's depressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, he just got, like, insulted by, like, his own,
Yeah.
like, council. They basically told him he's incompetent in front of
Yeah,
him.
there's a public meeting to fire him.
Yeah.
Hey, Sabriel is his champion right now. He doesn't want anything to happen to him.
That's so rough, though. So, yeah, literally, they had a discussion about firing him right in front of him.
Elves do not fuck around. Well,
They don't give a fuck.
that's the wrong way of saying that because they do. Anyway, we'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, drink.
Okay. The council meeting of the Sun Elves, addressing the issue of Slate Cove and the Elemental Gate. It is creating mutants and destabilizing the elemental balance. The meeting is over, and Sabriel has won.
Do they keep a hold of that potion, by the way?
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
It's probably just sitting on the table.
Okay, I'll take it back.
Gunnar
like
will
doing
look at you when
drink.
you do that and just be like, I wouldn't drink that.
Do you know what it does?
I don't plan on it. I'm guessing it'll make me all dusty and stony too.
She just goes back to hot girl shit.
I love her so much.
It's a little like shake. Okay, yeah, back in the back.
When everyone's kind of like going off and doing their thing, Cal will still be sitting, but we'll put a hand on Sabriel's elbow. As both are like, hey, good job, but also like, Ballard just walked away depressed.
Yeah, he's gonna.
You
go
know what
find
all of these
Ballard.
little things mean. Do you two want to go with Sabriel?
Yeah.
I guess it would
Yeah,
be weird. It would be
I think
weirder
so.
for you to stay, probably.
Yeah,
Uh,
just stood here in these council chambers.
Where you're not supposed to be.
It's like weird, forgotten NPCs.
Ballard will. Hey, don't. That happens. Ballard was shuffled out of the garden quite slowly, but then, of course, got quite a bit quicker when he's out of sight, as is the way. But he's all the way back in his chambers now, seemingly.
Yeah, Several's gonna just walk in.
He puts the orb back on the pedestal himself, and is leaning on the pedestal in the center of this like entrance chamber. He's leaning on the edge of it, and the orb is spinning and glowing, and it's casting a white light up onto his face. At this point, too, it's probably the stun setting.
How
he's
appropriate.
depressed.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna just walk up to him and put a hand on his shoulder. Don't think too much on it.
They're right, Sabriel.
They are.
Why didn't you let them remove me? I mean, what am I really doing? Prancing
Because-
around, wasting everyone's time we don't have as a people.
Because that is where you are supposed to be.
How supposed? If this is part of a Vandor's plan, he like yells at the setting sun. But why is it part of his plan for me to not always know who I am?
I'm fixing that. He takes his hands and puts them on the side of Ballard's face and like makes him look at him. You two fixed me. I'm going to fix you.
That was different.
No, it wasn't.
What if I'm too far lost? What if this is the last lucid moment I have in my life? What if... Well, I suppose if I wake up dead, that'll be the end of the problem.
We're not going to let that happen.
I'm already lost. I'm a lost thing. You could send me off to the Wayfarer and I'll live out the last of my days with the fairies, and you can lead and protect the realms. You'll be the first Sun Elves to ever protect from an interdimensional threat, and it'll be glorious, and the kingdom will revel, and...
As much as I think he would enjoy your never leaving a presence, I don't think I'm going to send you off to him.
Are we in the same room just like kinda
Yes.
awkwardly listening?
Yeah. At this point, by the way, Ballard is crying. He's got big, puffy tears.
Several's just like wiping it away.
But Ballard, I know
Beep.
there's a bit of a scale difference on this one, considering, well, time. But I mean, I was a lost thing once. I didn't know who I was, what was going on. I was found wandering the snow all alone, just making little peeps. Well, that's how I got the name. And now, look at me. I'm standing in the sky city run by sun elves that I didn't even really know existed. I swing swords, I fight things, and I'm just little. But I was lost, and then I was found. And maybe even though you're lost right now, you'll be found soon. We're all here. We all like you. We all support you.
Several still has his hands on his face too.
Yeah, Ballard he'll do the dramatic like, and he'll turn, and he'll step up to peep. And it's one of those things, especially because his eyes glow. He only has one eye, and like he's just so big, he kind of like looks down at you, and he'll wipe his eye, and he'll do the like because he's properly crying, and then he will quite quickly, actually quite slowly, he'll crouch down. And he'll pick Peep up from under the arms, and he'll lift you up. Oh, look at you! And like the scales, kind of like the eye glow glimmers on your scales a little bit, and he'll be like, huh. Making little peeps. Oh. Maybe if there are still more strange new things in the world like this one, they're friendly and fine and free. Maybe. And there's like a little shimmer glow to his skin. It's like under it. And his touch warms up on you, Peep. And he will start flying. Just a few feet off the ground.
Oh, okay. I wasn't expecting this.
And you're like, big hug. I'm gonna need you to give a Constitution save, Peep.
Oh no!
As
Let's
you
get
are
squeezed into nothingness.
full-hearted, hugged by Ballard. You regain consciousness. You do not pass out to the Ballard hug, and he's just gonna laugh and hug you and be floating off the ground a little bit as his sorcery just kind of sparks off in weird directions because he has no real control of it.
But Ballard, can you put the child down so he doesn't break?
Oh yes,
Okay.
I shouldn't break him. He needs to save the world.
I happen to like
Cool.
this strange dragon dog child.
He will put Peep down on the ground, and he'll sniffle a little bit.
Snow would speak up actually if there's like a pause.
Yeah, they're
Then,
elves. There's always a pause.
Yeah, Snow would speak up and you'd be like, if I may speak as well, my people, the ones who raised me, they're not great warriors and mostly peaceful folk that wander the forests and tend to farms, and they are not necessarily considered to be the best warriors, but when attacked, as we were a few years back, we raise up our arms and we fight. And I feel like the same is true for you. If needed, if the challenge arises, you can rise up, raise your arms and fight as well.
Ballard
I
will
know
step up to you and put a hand on your shoulder. You can keep speaking.
Yeah. He would just finish by saying, like, I know nothing of of crusades and great cities and crusades as you have here, but I know fighting and of the fighting spirit.
Your people. You mentioned them by name before. You introduced yourself as being of the Planavar. Who are they? Where are they? They're from close to the ring.
Yes, in the forests there.
They're forest folk who know natural from unnatural. And he points at Sabriel. We need to ask them. We need to talk to them. The folk who know the natural world are best at fixing the unnatural mistakes we make upon it. Is that not true?
That sounds right to me.
Snow is like, I'm not sure what my people could offer to altogether, but it would certainly be worth asking them.
We could speak to the elders and see what they have to say, yes.
Yes, we should. We should. We should go now.
Let's sleep. Or rest tonight.
Yes, yes.
My lord.
Rest. And then we go.
Yes.
Adventure!
Sure. Sabriel's gonna walk over to him real quick, though. He's gonna put his hands on Balor's shoulders. He's
Height
gonna,
difference. Yeah. Like, Balord could put his hand on Snow's shoulder with no issue. There's a height difference between Sabriel and
yeah,
Balord.
he's gonna reach up, but he's just gonna look at him. He's gonna look. It's always been the three of us working through things. We will always be the three of us sticking together. Don't think that even if they try to push you out, Cal and I will be here with you. So even if they push you out, that's not the end of things. But we're going to try to keep you where you are. You asked me to be your second way long ago when I didn't want anything to do with anything. Because I don't think that I'm capable of anything. Sabriel's like, I have bad self-esteem.
Yeah, and this was like 700 years ago. This is right after the Battle of Cramon.
Sabriel's a freshly traumatized Sabriel. Very freshly traumatized Sabriel. You believed in me, so we believe in you.
Think we could take Calivale with us? The forest people.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Why did that sound like a giggity? Oh.
It did, well, you know, that wasn't the intent.
Sabriel's gonna, he'll talk to Cal about it. No, he
No, I just love the way that it's so like, it was like you were talking about like your real husband, which is hilarious. Because, I mean, it is the depths that which this goes, but still.
Sabriel, I've been thinking about this for like half the stream, about what they're going to do with Alina, because they're not going to take her. So, he might be trying to ask if we can leave her with the High Elves for a few months.
Oh, you usually can. I mean, she can go to her family. She's, you know, a distantly related royal.
Yeah, that's where he's gonna want to send her, not to her daddy. But,
okay. He'll
yeah.
He'll understand, and are you all gonna leave him to rest?
Yeah.
If I think he's going to be okay. I need to insight?
He seems like he probably needs a little alone time to process things, you know?
Okay. So I don't need to insight to make sure I can leave him alone.
No, you know Balord pretty well. He'll be fine for the night.
He'll come back and check on him in the morning. He'll bring him breakfast.
Okay. And the other two, so you go back to Sabriel's house. Calvary would already be there. Already armor off, probably some kind of dinner on the table. Very spicy. Not quite curries, but like curried buns, not like just curries you're eating here with rice. But he usually makes things in some kind of pastry. And Caravale doesn't skimp on the spices either. He makes it hot. But he does just kind of smile, and he already knows things are okay because you're linked, so it's not an issue.
Everyone's just tired and wants a bath. He's gonna come home and take a bath after checking on wife and hubby, and hoping that wife is okay.
Yeah, wife's fine. Cal already kind of like briefly clued her in, and it was like Sabriel did great today kind of thing.
Sabriel needs wine and a bath.
Wine and bath at the same time. So Sabriel is Sabriel's an elf. Sabriel is now upstairs for like 2 hours. What do the other two of you want to do? At least, you want to just get to bed and see to the next one.
If we're planning on leaving the next day,
seems that way.
Sabriel might catch him staring at the picture again. I'm making it weird again.
Sabriel's having a bath, isn't it?
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do it now. That would be later in the night.
Yeah. So, but beyond that, that's it.
Anything with Pete?
So, Pete tried before the trick of writing like Micra, are you there, in the journal, and got no response. And they've said Micra's name out loud a few times, and like, oh, it's like as if they're talking to them and got no response. And Pete's now thinking, oh, they've got the ring now. I'm trying to remember the words of Smart Mantle, talking about how it's like it's a deal, it's a pact, it's not really, you can't really get rid of these things once they're done. But maybe Micro being how Pete remembers her being described requires something a little extra to get their attention. So Pete's gonna do the traditional thing of everything and get probably just get his claw and just cut the edge of his hand. Not straight down the palm, just a little nick. And use that little bit of blood to then write Micra, are you there in the journal?
You do that in the dead of night.
In the dead of night, when no one else around. I don't want anyone else there. When everyone's sleeping.
Roll me a perception check.
Perception. Ha.
You do this just before you put the bloody claw to paper. You hesitate, the drop of blood on the paper, you realize that Calravale has come down from the trance chamber and is standing behind you with his hands on his hips in a dad pose.
I pretend I'm just writing, and there's nothing, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just
Do you know what my title is, Peep? I am not a knight of anything. They call me the Sun Mender because I heal. I bring life into the world, and I know when people are hurt or bleeding. What did you do? Let me look at it.
I just scratched my palm. I put my hand out and
He will take the hand and squeeze it firmly. You've done something. Dad is a little annoyed. It's not like a oh baby. No, it's this is not mum. This is dad. This is but he will then wave the other hand over it, and the heel, it will just there's nothing there. Be more careful next time.
I will.
He says,
sorry.
Glaring deliberately at you. Suspiciously.
Sorry. I mean, I didn't mean to wake you, but I mean, you're very sheepish. Just like,
You didn't wake me. Elves do not sleep.
oh.
And he will look around and notice that Snow is not here. And he will go upstairs. Just leaving Peep to do whatever Peep was doing, but without the blood. And we'll see Snow staring at the painting of their late wife, Fendelin. And he will stand uncomfortably close behind you.
Does Pete like? I'm sorry. Does Snow like hear him walk up, or
You can give me a perception check again, as I guess, because it's more like you're distracted.
Is Sabriel like out?
Sabriel is meditating. You're tired. Yeah, you're asleep.
Let me. Oh, it was. That's weird. It's Roll20. Oh, there we go. Now it's working. It wasn't letting me pull up my sheet. Alright, perception. One of my better skills. Except I roll like shit.
Yeah, Caravel stays there for long enough. So maybe like, you're here for a long time, so maybe like half an hour. Let me see. I do not know what it is you think you're doing. But I know that you've done this over and over. If this is a habit that is forming, let this be the warning that this habit shall cease. I would much rather, if it came to it, escort you out of this tower than the painting of our dear, gone wife.
Snow would just be embarrassed, like his face would be beet red. And he would just be like, he would just be like, I apologize. And he would like just skulk down the stairs.
No, he won't let you skulk. You like try to go and he will like raise his hands and like a little sort of sigil will appear over the doorway. Like, Dad's not done yet. You're being told off.
I like how he's going around dadding everyone right now.
So doesn't appreciate that, but he's also more embarrassed than he is annoyed at that.
I know you have elven blood, but your giant blood takes control, as it does. So I do not know how much you know about the physiology of elves. But when we suffer trauma, it lingers upon us. Not a bullet, not an arrow wound, or an axe strike, but trauma to the heart. It lingers, it burns, it breaks the bonds in one's soul over time. When Ballord forgets things, it is because he has already lost so much. Because he has the weight of everything on his shoulders. When Fendelin was lost from us, it was not a graceful death. It was something Sabriel saw, bloody and brutal, and saw in his dreams every night since, for decades. It took every single ounce of my being to bring him back, and that wound is still there. This painting honors her. But you linger. Not in the way that one honors the dead. And if you but for a moment reopen that wound in Sabriel's heart, I will be less kind in escorting you from the tower. And he will dispel the
yeah, Snow would just
barrier.
nod, but his head is kind of hung in shame. So he would like just nod his head and then skulk down the stairs like he was planning to originally.
Yeah.
Wait. Snow comes downstairs, like beat red, just looking at shame, and just like sees Peep there, just like, how?
He just nods and then just like walks by Snow into the corner and like just
back, like, yeah.
yeah. So just like he literally won't say a word though. He nods, but then he walks by Pete, goes and lays in like the corner of the room facing the wall, like huddled facing the wall. Like he doesn't want to be seen by anyone.
Listen, Pete got no. There's a difference here in who got in trouble for what. This is like the kids getting in trouble for mom doing demon summoning in the middle of the night. One of which was actually trying to do that. The other one staring at a dead woman.
When I scratched, wouldn't there still be a little bit of blood on the claw?
Yeah.
Little light writing of Micra in the book.
Okay.
Oh no.
Nothing happens for the rest of the night. You can get your full rest, and the air is clear come morning. There is the calling of songbirds and of eagles around the tower. What are people doing in the morning? Especially after going to bed so ashamed.
Saffron's just going about his normal morning business. He's just like, oh, why is everyone so glum this morning?
Yeah, I was gonna say if we're eating breakfast and then Sabriel walks in, Snow like does not give any eye contact to Sabriel at all.
I mean, Sabriel did kind of hint to that though at the council meeting. What Cal described to Snow.
Yeah.
So they know what happened to Sabriel.
Yeah. Cal's just, there's a reminder that Cal is not necessarily always a sweet cinnamon bun. Sometimes he is the harsh, he's the bad cop.
Sweet cinnamon gun.
He would. If you gave him the option, if you gave him a 9mm Beretta, he would use it.
Yeah, no, Snow does not give Sabriel. Snow does not give any eye contact to Sabriel.
He's probably like being a little too cheery, trying to like being not like suspicious. Well, probably depending how he's acting suspicious, but just try to make it like nothing's weird, nothing's wrong, everything's fine.
What happened? He just turns to Cal. He doesn't even ask them because they're both being weird.
Cal raises a finger and takes a long sip of tea. Nothing happened.
What if also off screen, even though he didn't see it, what if Grim and Goldie both got caught doing stuff as well? So
Grim and Goldie are like with Tanuma, so Cal would have had to leave.
Oh,
it's like Grim comes in and he's like missing an arm or something.
You'll get it back when you're good.
As a
bong out of kitchen equipment.
I've heard these elven spices are quite strong.
Goldie's in there like making out with a cooking pot.
That ain't right. That ain't right. That's anti-robot propaganda.
He finds them
pro-robot.
looking like
Go around the
traffic, like a parking meter, and starts like smooth talking it like it looks like C-3PO. No. Speaking of Grim, several because Cal did want to go over Grim a bit.
Are you gonna remind him?
Yeah.
Ah.
By the way, there's the skeleton in the base.
Good idea. I will take a look over that. Now, before we're heading off towards this Forest of Giants. When I'm back, we can leave. And he will give a little kiss on Sabriel's cheek and head out.
Does Peep have regular armor on? Like, what does Peep have?
Peep has like a big chain shirt.
Yeah.
Hey, Peep.
Yeah.
Because he has ideas. He's thinking because Snow's getting armor made, right?
Yes.
Snow doesn't need new armor. Snow's getting new armor. Peep doesn't have new armor.
I mean, this stuff still works. It's got some chinks in it, but it's still fine. You know?
What if... Do we have time to go down to the city or...
You may, probably not today if you want something forged to his size. But you can change your plans. You just have to tell Ballard.
Are we taking for my own clarification so I know, like, I don't, like, not to the High Elf City, but if I wanted to go to the market here to speak to one of them, would I be able to ask them for something? Like, are they coming with us?
They?
The blacksmith, armor smith, whatever the fuck they're called, smith.
Why? They're probably not coming with you.
Celebrimbor.
Celebrimbor. No, they're probably not coming with you. When you actually go to war again, the War of the Ring, you probably will have smiths with you then that are working on keeping. So that might be the better time. But
Yeah,
what's Balor's as a scout?
Yeah, he'll ask them to measure Peep. Now,
Maybe make a plan,
just measure him. Yeah. Hey Peep. Let's go to the market. I have an idea for something that I would like to do since you have been helpful. He's trying to think of something for Snow too, but he hasn't quite figured out what yet. He's getting there. He takes time to figure these things out. Right now Peep is easy.
Elf thoughts are slow.
For real though.
That's why they have to meditate all the time.
He's gonna take Peep down to the armors with those people and ask them to at least just start making a plan for later. It doesn't need to be done right now.
Sure. You can have one of them look over Peep and measure, and this is the fiery haired lady who is like cousin of Fendelin, who is like, can't say I've ever had to do this one before. Measuring a little dragon man.
He's actually, you know what? Is she the one that probably made the armor for the giant blood lady?
Probably.
He's gonna ask her if she's got any ideas for something that can be made, not armor-wise, because he's getting armor, but something that can be made for Snow. Like a javelin. One that he can't break.
A javelin that can't be broken.
Or that's got an enchantment on it to return.
It's possible. There will be a lot of soldiers who will be wanting new longswords, new helmets, new cod pieces. All these things
That's
are going to
just
be
a
coming
request.
in. I'll see if I get some time.
That's all he wanted to do. He'll think and then go back to he'll go check on Zelius the second.
Yep,
And
Zelius
then-
is fine. Zelius will be a bird brain and is going to follow you home.
Is Zelius
That's
the
fine.
second? Is he actually the second? Like, is he son
Yeah.
of the first Zelius?
Sabriel is old. This is Sabriel's second Pegasus.
But are they related, or is it just like the
Yeah.
thing where you get a pet and name it? like in
Zelius the
Simpsons
second
sort of
is
thing?
actually the child of Sabriel's first Pegasus and Balord's first Pegasus.
Okay, nice.
Although I don't think
It's
Ballord
their
has a second
son.
Pegasus now. It
It's
doesn't
their
read.
son.
Yeah.
It's
Which
Ballard
explains
and
why
Sabriel's
this
son.
one is a bit stupid. Because, you know, there's some Ballord energy
It got the
there.
worst of both.
Hey now. It's got Sabriel's not vanity, I guess. I don't know. Bro has low self-esteem. Anyway.
So you go back home.
Yeah.
Peep measured up for armor. Not Zelius kind of follows, and like you get it to like there's the little tiny little like 5-foot bridge by the door, and like you have to be like stop, because Zelius II has tried to go inside before, which is not going to go well because they're a Pegasus.
He just sits on the balcony like a bird in the morning, all 4 legs just on the railing of the balcony, balancing with his wings because he's a dumbass.
Snow is in. Peep is with you. Probably already going inside. Alina kind of looks out the window and chuckles a little bit at Zelius II. Just being a like a cat, wanting to be in the room. And that's when you see Ballord kind of rushing up excitedly to go on an adventure. Come, everyone inside!
Oh, okay. Are
And
we
he
taking
will-
my house?
Yeah, Ballord pulls out from his cloak the orb and will just a piece, and there's just a big creak as the whole house kind of starts to shift and move a little. It
I have no
should
fucking idea if this will work, but
it shouldn't be this creaky. This house hasn't moved separate to the city in older than Sabriel. This house has been moored here for like 1,000 years on the side of the rock, and so there's like this creak and groan, and some things are gonna fall off the shelves. And it's like it's a little rusty, but we should get there quite quickly. And we'll kind of twist the orb again, and the door will kind of accidentally flutter open, and you can see the kind of spokes that connect the building to the island kind of fold in, and the drawbridge goes in, and Ballord is smiling and laughing, and Alina comes down the stairs to ask what's wrong, and the whole tower goes and
Ballard, we were going to leave Alina.
nonsense. She can come with. It'll be good for the baby.
It'll be blasting through the house.
And he'll run because like the ground floor balcony is the opposite side of the front door. He'll run through the balcony with the orb, and the wind rushes by, and he'll turn and look at the city like just kind of like there's the guards on Pegasus like what is happening? This hasn't happened in a long time.
He's like a
And this
little
tower's
like a little kid.
Yeah. He's like a little kid on a boat.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I was
yeah.
thinking.
It's not Zelius, it was Zelius II just trying to keep up.
Yeah, well, Zelius II is keeping up because it's starting off quite slow, but now it's but Ballord is like he's going above the speed limit that you're meant to with this. This is why the whole building is sort of sideways a little bit, and things are starting to fall down, and the painting falls down, and
Oh, no.
You kind of see through the open, like you feel it in your mind when Sabriel, is
Yes,
everything
I know.
okay?
No! Get your horse and let's go!
Ballard took the house!
I don't think I'll catch up. I think you're on your own on this one. And Ballard's like, adventure to the forest of giants! Nonsense! We were literally born ready!
Ballard, we forgot Calverville.
Oh. At this point, but it's still moving. It's still going into the morning
It's like
sun.
Then it's going so fast that he's not looking at it. You hear a bunch of geese like hit the bottom of the thing.
And that's where
Turn it around.
no, that's where today's session ends off. Ballord has set the route. You're going.
Left Goldie, we left Grim, we left Cal, we left the
Wait, no, Grim is in the
lady,
basement, I thought.
We left the shit. No,
No, Grim is in the basement of the city.
Oh no!
But hey, don't worry. You have Sabriel's pregnant wife.
No, that's like we find out Vincent was.
Vincent?
No.
Well, Vincent isn't gonna know what the shit is going on. Vincent next
worry.
session is gonna
He's
wake up
here.
and like come
We have-
upstairs and like the tower is flying at like at
Goldie's
least.
in the basement making out with the soup pot. Like,
It's like the tower's flying away at like faster than any vehicle can go in this world. It's like a galleon at top speed with the wind. It's going like to adventure.
Yeah.
why is he Buzz Lightyear
100%
now?
on Ballard's back.
He is Buzz
Ballard's
Lightyear.
bringing it back, baby.
He's actually Buzz Lightyear, like Buzz Lightyear before he knew he wasn't like a superhero toy.
Buzz
thing.
Lightyear in the movie kind of looks a bit like Ballard. Give him a blonde hair,
Oh,
side
God's
shave.
sake, you know, fucking Sabriel's fucking Woody now, and Ballard's the first movie. It's just like, what?
That's where we're gonna end off today's
Gotta-
session. Feel free to go on. We have time to shitpost. Oh yeah, I was waiting for that. And then you were like, "Oh, we should go and do some stuff this morning." I was like, "You should have just stayed in bed."
That's so. It was so awkward that Cal saw me looking at his dead
Cal
wife.
I mean,
is
Sabriel caught you like 2 or 3 times too. So
yeah,
Yeah.
but Cal is like
Cal didn't see
very-
good.
Cal is the mean one. Well, they're both the mean one. It depends on the time. But
But also
Cal
that's the
is-
thing is like Snow doesn't know Cal at all. He knows Sabriel, so he's like it's more
Here's the thing,
awkward.
like-
Cal is the one that'll snark at you directly. Sabriel's the one that'll be like, "I'm not mad, I'm disappointed," which is worse.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
a situation is a glass, right? And Sabriel is like a 500 ml bottle of drink, right?
Yeah.
Where are you going with this?
But Cal is 2 liters and he doesn't want to spill any, so he just only when no one else is involved will he pour that mean bitch in there.
Oh.
Yes, that is true. Whereas this Ballard is
Especially
like
when it's in regards to his Sabriel.
drinking
too,
out the
though.
bowl. Yeah, exactly. You've only seen Cal be like very gentle with his husband. No, you're causing him a mild inconvenience. He's gonna
What
be
would
actually
have
annoyed.
What would he have done if he knew what I was trying to do?
Sabriel
Probably
would
kill you.
probably get on you.
Oh,
Sabriel would
no.
probably. Once Sabriel finds out that Peep is like literally made a deal with Dragon Satan, he's probably gonna get mad.
Yeah. It's the dragon antichrist. I've thought about it a bit more. It's not Satan. It's the antichrist.
It's worse.
fine.
The Antichrist is worse.
You realize how this makes it worse. Yeah, so that's where we end off today's session with the party going off onto an adventure to Snow's home at maximum speed.
In
Yeah.
Sabriel's flying TARDIS.
It's
Yes.
it's like we find out that the Planivar have been working on making like hot air balloons. They finally got their first prototype working, and then they just
Pop
smash it. Oh
It's
no!
the school bus train meme. It's just the
Oh yeah. Oh, but yeah. No, I guess Ollie. At some point, I need to maybe message you about what I would know about my people because I haven't really thought about that much.
It's one of those things where your people don't have much going on.
Yeah,
It'll
just really
confused.
happen.
If you knew the amount of stuff that I DM Ollie about, because I don't know the answer for the Sun Elves.
Yeah, where was a blurb on every one of those council members and how they might behave, and because Sabriel's 900 years old.
Yeah, Sabriel knows, just Ori didn't know.
And there's the
Yeah.
the 3 faces of the sun, 4 kind of, that you know are relevant and come up in discussion, which, you know. Anyway,
Mhm.
good time. You did successfully convince the council, and very convinced Ballard, it seems.
That
We
was
will-
hard.
We will be back next time. And yeah, next time there'll be some adventure. This is when we thank you guys and thank the people on the show. So you all can talk a little bit about what you're working on and what's going on, starting with poetry.
Mm-hmm. Well, recently I've been streaming a lot of Sekiro and a lot of XCOM 2. I've been doing my practicing my speed runs of Sekiro, and I've gotten below 40 minutes for the category that I'm running in, and so that's really cool. I'm like 10 minutes off of the world record still, which means I have to cut off an entire quarter of my run. But
Still pretty good though.
That's still pretty good.
And then XCOM 2, I suck at that game. I'm good at Sekiro now. XCOM 2, I'm on my 11th attempt at a campaign. So, yeah, if you want to watch me get all my chat members killed by aliens, that's about it for me.
Okay. Speaking of aliens, voice quills.
Hey, I'm basically an alien trying to communicate with humanity through shitposting.
Yeah, you get it.
It works.
I post my bullshit on YouTube. Daily uploads. Or was it yesterday? I had four continuous months of daily uploads.
That's awesome.
That's pretty great.
So,
that's
yeah.
a lot harder than it sounds as well.
It is. It's like there's days where it's like, oh my god, I have so many to pick from, and then there's other days like, Jesus Christ, I'm scrolling through like 7 Twitter accounts to find one meme that's decent.
I'm helping.
Today
I'm
was
sending all the ones I can.
You are.
Hey, we
Today's
still
one was
need to recode that Lilo and Stitch one. That would be great.
Dude, that'd be good. So yeah, there's that. I also just shitpost on Twitter, either just by posting the shitpost or just typing whatever deranged shit comes to mind, like Amogus. And there's some very, very interesting audition opportunities that have come up recently. So if you want to hear what happens with those, if and when I can talk about them, then follow me on Twitter. And that's pretty much it.
All right. And the elf of the hour, Ori.
Ori is stressed. No. So yeah, I do the arts and I shitpost through humanity, but not in the alien way, in the Fae way, which is almost as bad.
I mean, especially in Jarviskjir, the Fae are basically also alien. Actually, kind of literally, that's actually something we're exploring in some of the stuff me and Ori are doing that will probably come out some way.
The Wayfinder was mentioned today, and he is 100% an alien.
The Wayfinder is arguably an alien. Yes.
But anyway, yeah, I do the arts as the job, so I have three commission slots left open. If you would like one, please commission me so I can buy food. Yeah. There's other things I do. I don't remember what they are, but I
tomorrow
do things on Twitter. Yeah, that I shitpost all day, every day. But yeah, tomorrow is Ghost of the Greenwood, and they're gonna try and figure out why there was a werewolf that was a dwarf named Jem, and Ollie's really sus about it, which is great. Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow at 2 p.m. my Eastern time ish, if we're feeling well. The last few times we've had to cancel because somebody's been really sick. I'm bitches. Bitches is me.
It might be me this time. It might be me. It really might.
Who knows?
Who'll see? We'll see next time.
Minute. The joys of chronic illness.
Well, what I usually do is I'm just like, oh no, I'll be fine, and then I'm there a grump the whole time, like my tummy's upset.
No, with me the last few times, it's been like I can't be at my desk because I'm violently sick. But yeah,
like Ballard's violently sick drift with the tower.
Yeah. That's yeah. But yeah, just email me. I need art to pay for things like food and art supplies and video games, but mostly food because I'm poor. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Sorry for the birds consistently today.
There's also recent art, I think if you go to Ori's Twitter, like, it'll be not very far down, of Sabrel in his full armor.
Sabrel and him Lord Commander armor. Huh?
It looks super dope.
Thank you. There's hints about Sabrel's stuff on his armor.
There's there are lore connections. Although, admittedly, some of them might not come out for a long time because the way
Yeah.
all of this
We've
is
decided
connected to things that I can and can't show. How it is. Because
Keep an eye on
everything's connected.
Sabriel's wiki page. I will be updating it.
Yes,
soon. Yeah.
Jarviskjir wiki. There's been a bit of a revitalization. I'm working on it because of some stuff that happened in a Monday campaign. But there is a wiki for characters and events and things. And if you want to get involved, hit me up on the Discord. Because it would be really cool to have a depository of stuff and stories and character interactions and relationships and things. I think that's really cool. That's the kind of thing I read when I'm stuck on the toilet when I'm ill. So I want to help all the babies who are ill have something to read. There we go. It's charity. That's what it really is. And you should help. This show is also supported by Patreon. For a little bit of extra money, you get some behind-the-scenes stuff, homebrew content, because there's a lot of homebrew littered around here. Also, behind the scenes of art, alternate pictures of art, usually the naked ones, and sometimes concept art. In fact, actually, basically the painting that Sabriel, that Snow's been looking at, is either on Patreon or I'm putting it on Patreon soon. And for $5 or more a month, there is an extra show, a Monday game, that is set in the northern city of Udar. Completely different culture. There's minotaurs, there's thieves. It's a great time. And on Wednesdays, there is Jarviskjir Mind Over Matter, where we're approaching the end of this chapter. It's very dramatic. And that's about it. Also Fridays, chill streams, other chill streams when available. Thanks for helping out. Thanks for joining us. And hopefully we'll see you next time for adventure! Get out of here.